Hare Krishna, everyone, and welcome to our weekly session on Bhagavad Gita. So we just coming out of two festivals, two back-to-back festivals. So we had Lord Krishna's appearance day, Krishna Janmashtami, on Friday, and it was followed as always, by appearance of Srila Prabhupada on Saturday. So both these celebrations were extremely grand, extremely eventful. Lots of programs were organized in temple for kids, online also, and hope all of you would have participated in all of those as per your time availability, as per your resources. You would have celebrated appearance of Lord Krishna, as well as would have offered prayer to Lord Krishna for making progress in spiritual on path to come closer to him. And it is very correct that immediately after Lord Krishna comes Srila Prabhupada, who is going to actually show us way to Krishna and help us get there. So I hope we would have all offered prayers to Lord Srila Prabhupada as well, given some commitments to Srila Prabhupada to become fixed in devotional service, to follow rigorously the principles that he has given, the process that he has given, and to benefit, we make best use of current life that has been offered to us for whatever the number of years, which we don't know, but whatever the conscious time that we are living in this world, let's try make our best effort to follow all the instructions given by Srila Prabhupada and live according to his instructions. And there's a way of perfection, achieving perfection in our life, and coming closer to Krishna. And whatever we can achieve is then that will make our life victorious. That will make our life successful. So otherwise it is shramak evahi kevalam, and we'll have to come back to this world and repeat it all over again. So we'll try and glorify Prabhupada today. In his so topic for today's discussion is the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada. So we'll try and take a look at some of the key events in his life, and how those events, what we can learn from those events, and what we can what we can learn, and what how we can apply those learnings into our life. When we look at Srila Prabhupada's life and look at our life, then we should also be able to draw some parallels that Srila Prabhupada, despite of having so many difficulties, did this. At least I can do something on the similar lines, if not exactly, act at the same level where Prabhupada was, but at least we get some inspiration, we get some direction where we need to travel, where we need to go from the life of Srila Prabhupada life, and so that's an example that we get to follow. So look at we'll talk about initial to start with a few verses from a prayer that Srila Prabhupada has written. As most of you probably hopefully will know, that he traveled to America on a cargo ship, container cargo ship called Jaladuta. And this was a free return ticket given to him by one of his well-wisher, Srimati Moraji. And so he was persisting that he want to go to America. He used to meet her and request persistently for to her to give him a free ticket to America, free return ticket to America, because he wanted to he wanted to fulfill the order of his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, which he received in 1922 when he met him for the first time, that you're a well-learned man, English-speaking man, so you should go to Western countries and preach the message of Lord Chaitanya to the Western world. And because Lord Chaitanya has predicted, Bhakti Vinod Thakur has predicted that Lord Chaitanya has said that my name will be sung all over the world, in every nook and corner of the world. Then Bhakti Vinod Thakur has predicted that a Senapati Bhakta will arrive on this planet, and he will take Krishna consciousness, the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, to across the borders of India to the Western world. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur recognized Prabhupada's and in the and then gave this instruction upfront on in his first meeting. That was a time when the independence movement was very had a very had a big current, because everybody wanted India to be independent. Everybody wanted to contribute to India's independence. So that was the only career option that was seen by the youth of India. And Prabhupada was in prime youth at that time, born in 1896. And in 1922, he was just 26, 27-year old. That time when he met Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So having received this instruction, Prabhupada kept that instructions in his heart. And he kept working on other instruction that whenever you get money, print books and publish books and translate the literature into English language. So he was preparing himself for this particular voyage to America by writing books, by translating Bhagavatam first canto. He had still not been able to write Bhagavad Gita. He didn't had his own Bhagavad Gita at that time. So the manuscript that he wrote for purports of Bhagavad Gita was sold to a vendor in exchange for a tea set by his wife. And that was the trigger. That was the time when Prabhupada realized that he has to step out. He has to accept the Vanaprastha ashram. So he surrendered everything. He handed over every home, all the affairs of his home to his sons, and stepped out and became Vanaprastha. Eventually took sannyas in Vrindavan. And as a sannyasi, he was living in Vrindavan and working on translating, working on completing the translation of Srimad Bhagavatam first canto. And parallelly, he was trying to go to America to preach and fulfill the first order of his guru. So what we will look at has a few bullets. So we'll upfront discuss that. So the initially we will discuss the leap of faith. Now, how the step Prabhupada took on the board of this to board this particular Jaladuta ship is how big is this step. Now, at a material level, it may appear to be an old man walking up the staircase of a ship, but when we look at the background of this man and what he has been doing all this while, ever since his birth, and then we look at it into the today's context, then we understand the gravity of this step that Prabhupada took. So it's a leap of faith. Krishna will provide, Krishna will protect. Next, we will look at some of the pastimes from Prabhupada's life where he demonstrate the surrendered mood of service in service of Krishna. So when you are surrendered to Krishna, when you are working for Krishna, what should be our mood when we are serving Krishna? Next, we will look at tolerance to stay focused on purpose. What is tolerance is not to be a weak-hearted person, not a sign of a weakness. It's a sign that you are focused on your purpose. When you are focused on your purpose, you can tolerate more than otherwise. So you don't let your ego interfere with your purpose. So you can tolerate insults, tolerate everything. And we will look at that aspect of Srila Prabhupada, how he tolerated, because for him to continue pursuing the fulfillment of his purpose. Aggression to protect the purpose. Now, when the need arises, we need to be aggressive to protect the purpose. Now, the purpose is to take Lord Chaitanya's message, give it to the whole world. And that it can be done through by establishing temples, by initiating disciples, by giving Krishna consciousness as it is, by teaching Bhagavad Gita, by teaching Bhagavatam, by giving them Shravanam Kirtanam, facility for Shravanam Kirtanam, thereby cultivating Vishnu Smaranam. So creating all these facilities was the mission was the purpose for which Prabhupada stepped out of comforts of Vrindavan. And but at times he had to be tolerant, at times he had to be aggressive. And how he manages to do both in different times, and so that he can protect the purpose, staying focused on the purpose, tolerate to focus, stay focused on the purpose, be aggressive to protect the purpose as well. we'll look at different skills that Prabhupada demonstrated. Now, as he's just not a preacher, he was just not a writer, and whole bunch of skills, whole lot of skills that he had to demonstrate in order to establish this movement, in order for this movement to grow, and also create a legacy, also create a process by which it can function even after Srila Prabhupada leaves this planet. So all this visionary work that was done by Prabhupada, and we will look at different skills that he demonstrated in handling this responsibility. Lastly, the mood of Vrindavan. We will look at what does that means, and how does that reflect in his life. Mood of Vrindavan reflect in life of Srila Prabhupada. So please discuss what advice you would give to any 70-year-old person coming to you seeking financial assistance to visit America alone, without any assistance from anyone, without knowing anyone in America, on a preaching mission. He may tell us that he want to go there and preach the message of Lord Chaitanya. And because why? Because this was the order given by his spiritual master. So he wants to fulfill his order of his spiritual master. Therefore, he want to go to America. What advice all of you would give him if such person were to come to you asking for financial assistance, or asking for a return ticket, donation for buying a return ticket to America? How can we advise such person? And of course, give reasons to support your argument.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Krishna.
So Prabhuji, I hope that the reasons will be the same. Means advices will be the same as were given to Srila Prabhupada, that you have grown so old, you don't know anything there, and it's all that on the materialistic platform. Because to a 70-year-old person, we know that in our contemporary society, people are not that physically strength. Their physical strength is not enough to just bear with the atmospherical changes that will take place in his journey. So the reasons will be the same, because at the face of it, we won't be knowing that who is the personality standing in front of us, because Srila Prabhupada's activities shows that what he was actually. But to a general person, the advices will be the same. Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Any other thought anyone has? Or would somebody give some other advice?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. And as Srila Prabhupada traveled on the cargo, since I relate to my naval background, I know that how much difficult it is to sail in a ship. And that too in a cargo ship, it is again horrible. And the 70-year-old person who will be traveling on that means it is not even sure that he will reach his destination, considering his age factor. But Srila Prabhupada is Srila Prabhupada.
So
yes,
considering all analysis that we may do to evaluate this particular situation, we all probably will come up with the same solution. Correct? Anybody has any other thoughts or any other additional comments, reasons that you will give for declining this request? You assume you have a lot of money. Don't worry about money factor. Assume you can give any donation. You can give assume it's airfare also. But that not a cargo ship. That cargo ship will be a little tough even for the young ones also to survive and reach the other side of the ocean. But it's not
Hare Krishna,
luxury. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I see, the determination at this point, that whatever be the mode, but the determination, whether it is air or cargo or whatever, but the determination, once you sail on your path with determination, then probably the means doesn't matter here. And I see that there was a lot of determination and the command Prabhu took to go to foreign land. That's what I feel was very, very strong.
Right. Determination was very strong.
Hare
Sainath
Krishna,
Prabhu?
Prabhuji.
Yes,
Hare
sir.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Uh,
I feel, the topic itself, leap in faith. So, as we do para jumping from aircraft, and then you have got full confidence on the safety equipments, on the things that yes, when you fall down, you'll be protected. So that kind of faith was there, which has given the strong will and determination that whatever it means, whatever the problems will be there, I will go. That initial leap was the main key factor, and that come out because of the faith, full faith on the God, saying that He will give me the path, He will protect me, He will take care of all the things. So that was the main thing behind all the activity what has been performed. The complete faith, full surrender was there on Krishna, that He will do everything for me.
yeah, very nice point. That full faith on Krishna was the reason, was the strength that he was proceeding with. Sainath Prabhu, you want to say something?
Prabhuji, what I feel is that at the age of 70, he decided to go to America. But one part of the one side of it is that it was a very new challenge. No one had before explored Hare Krishna consciousness movement in US. So it was to be seen that how people in US will react to that. So that was a completely a new challenge which was unexplored. So that is what I feel that much.
Yes, a new territory unexplored. So before that, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's few disciples have been to Germany and UK, but they all failed. They all failed means they couldn't make much headway, or couldn't progress, and then they all came back concluding that that community is useless. I mean, they're all mlenchas, or they just
Right.
cannot be taught
Right.
this message of Krishna consciousness, and it
So
is
it was
impossible
like,
to teach them. Yes.
right,
So
it was
then
like,
Prabhupada was thinking that he said jokingly that let me go to some other country and fail. If I had to fail, let me go to another country and fail. Why I again go to UK and fail? So
right.
that was his. He
So
said
it
that
was
jokingly to his
altogether
god
a
brother.
very new assignment, which was it was a new and unexplored assignment which Prabhupada took at the age of 70.
Correct. So most of us actually often think of counting your days at that age, or even if winding up your things. Hopefully, at least in that age, at least we'll be thinking about winding up things, winding down things, not initiating new projects, not setting up new factories, not opening new shops, and of course not creating more facility for sense enjoyment, not buying a big TV, not trying to buy a big car of your dream life, and so that you can sit in the car and enjoy. Hopefully, if it's a spiritually minded person, he will actually start winding down from the age of 50 onwards, and so that his focus on serving God increases. But you're right, Prabhupada. On one hand, that is this winding down of material activity. Prabhupada did it at the age of 50. From then onwards, all his expansion plans and strategies were for increasing Krishna consciousness, spreading glories of Krishna. So he operated at a transcendental level completely. So let's see. We go back to the presentation. Yeah. So most of the reasons were rightly mentioned, stated. So old age. Prabhupada, Srimati Muraji, he only asked for. So one of the comment by Srimati Muraji was that if you'll go there, you will die, because the winters there are extremely severe. New York winters are extremely severe even for Americans. What to speak of Indians who who has never experienced anything like that. So very severe extreme conditions, climatic conditions, and you have no facility. There's no room heaters. We've been to America and other countries. Every place is room heated. Every place is where there are room heaters in place, and temperatures are maintained at moderate 25, 26, 27 degrees Celsius. So You never really feel unless you explore, unless you stepped out of the controlled climatic conditions. You don't really feel the external weather, how cold it is, how problematic it could be. And so that is possible. The trains are buses, trains, everything has heating facility. So practically, as long as you're operating in that controlled environment, you don't feel the problem. But Prabhupada had no such facility, and for such an old person without any facility to survive in New York itself could have been Boston, New York, or the East Coast would have been a definite challenge. And so she said, "You will simply go and die there. Why you want to go and die there? Rather die in India. You die, go to Vrindavan and leave your body in Vrindavan. Why you want to go to America and leave your body there?" so so she was not wrong in saying that. He had no money, so he was asking for a free passage because he had no money to purchase a ticket. Not that aircrafts were not operating at that time between India and America, but he didn't want her to be troubled too much, and hence he asked for this passage to America on a cargo ship. So they were operating a container shipping company where containers are loaded. When goods are exported to America or imported from America, it moves in containers, and these containers are loaded on board of a ship. And those ships travel. They travel from one port to another to another. There are the unloading happens and fresh loading happens, and that's how the ship continues and travel to the other side of the world. And then they, after a few months of rest, it comes back. That's a typical how the trade in the sea, trade through sea occurs. Prabhupada had no money, so that's why he was asking for a free passage. So surviving in America without money was considered to be I mean, you can't go and hope to beg in America and survive there for too long. It's just impossible. No institutional support. When we travel today for office work, we have a air ticket that is delivered to us. The cars are booked from home. The pickup is arranged from home to airport. Then airfare takes us to the country of destination there where we have to go. At the country of destination, again, there are arrangements made for us to be picked up from airport till hotel, and after few hours of rest, we are arranged by another vehicle is arranged for us to get picked up from hotel and to reach the office. That's the destination where we probably will go and work, and then the same vehicle arrangement will be there till we return back. So when you travel with institutional support, these arrangements are already in place. The Prabhupada had no such arrangement, no followers. Now he had no followers practically in India. He had a few well-wishers, but none of those were his disciples. So he couldn't initiate even one disciple in India before he left for America. And extreme weather conditions, we spoke about unknown uncultured people in America. So he knew that America is a place where people has no idea how to deal with a sannyasi. Now he was a sannyasi. As a sannyasi, he was obviously wearing saffron clothes, and he was a resident of Vrindavan, respected resident of Vrindavan. Bhaktisiddhanta, there are so many god brothers who were living in Vrindavan in their respective mathas, and he knew so many. He was well known amongst the scholars and all the spiritualists who were living at that point of time in Vrindavan. He was very well known in that circle. So he would get a lot of respect. Even in India today also, if you see somebody wearing saffron, all of you, the moment you see him, you will bow down, or you should bow down to such a person. And that's the respect that one can offer because of the culture and etiquettes that one has learned. However, in America, there were no such etiquettes. The American youth or even American people in general does not follow any such etiquette. So they so to expect them to respect him was impossible task. So what if you're not respecting, you're insulting other person. You may at the most behave properly with that old person looking at his age, but even that is not guaranteed, because America was under the significant influence of drugs at that time, where the counterculture was going on, where people were rejecting the existing religious system. The Christianity and church domination was rejected by the youth of America, and then they were exploring the Asian counterculture, the counterculture through which to which they considered that to be a spiritual path was path of taking drugs. And when you get a kick, when you when you come under the influence of the drug and you get a kick, you get a hangover, and you lose your external consciousness, at that time it was considered to be a spiritual, that was considered to be the spiritual path. And people were falling prey to drugs in big way. And the intoxication, the drugs was huge amongst the youth. Simultaneously, the war was going on, where America was fighting war with Vietnam. So every youth they will see on the street, they will put him into the army and send him to Vietnam for fighting war. And so much youth was they lost their lives because of this. And because of this, seeing this done by American government, there was a huge anger that the people had against the government. So they were, and the only way they could express it was through taking drugs and just shouting slogans at the Americans governments, and doing all kind of activities against the government. So there was a huge social unrest at that point of time in America. So the people were uncultured from spiritual point of view, and they were they would not deal their they would not deal with they would not deal with the sannyasi in a proper way, and that was expected. So Prabhupada knew that would be the future that holds for him, and but still he wanted to give it a try. Prabhupada's life so far has been a story of great endeavors and no success. Great endeavors and no success. So he was 70-year-old, 70, which means he would have, and he had met his spiritual master in 1922 at the age of 26. So from 26 to 70, he had some association of his spiritual master from time to time. He received a lot of instructions from him. He has completed his study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he became Vedic scholar himself. And so there were, and he was consciously making effort to preach in India, so he wanted to start. So he started with opening the started with a magazine called Back to Godhead. Now the Back to Godhead magazine, he used to single-handedly, he used to write the entire magazine, and then get it published, get it distributed, get it sold, collect subscription for the same. And that was single man effort in doing everything for this, for getting it published and edited and managed. But that was also not picking up. People were not receptive of this particular idea of spirituality, changing our life for the purpose of following our religion. Now that was something which was not well accepted in India at this point of time. So this was the time post independence. So when Prabhupada took sannyas, that time India had just become independent, and the whole focus was on opening factories. How we can now, having become independent, how we can now prosper economically, so that the better living facilities can be created. And the people were fast giving up our Vedic culture to adapt the Western culture, the Western way of life. Now they wear trousers, we started wearing trousers. So we were simply copying the West, and we thought West is the best, but we don't want West to rule us. So we want to become like West on our own. So we were trying to learn whatever they were doing. We were trying to copy it and implement it in India. And that applied to the externally, the way the India wanted to progress, and also conscious at a level of consciousness, they wanted to do what Westerners did. And that was the mood our country was at that point of time, between 1950 to 1965, when Prabhupada tried vigorously to preach in India without any success. The League of Devotees is something similar to ISKCON. That organization he tried starting, in Jhansi. Jhansi was the headquarters, and then they tried to purchase a land to open a temple, and then where the people could start walking in and then become disciples and get initiation, become disciples, and then spread the message all over the world. But that failed. So these are some of the examples of his effort to take forward the mission that his Guru Maharaj gave him, and everything failed very miserably. He tried working with his god brothers for the Gaudiya Math organization that was established by his Guru Maharaj, but that also couldn't work out. His god brothers at times were not very cooperative, not very enthusiastic about his preaching mission, and were not very encouraging. Whatever their behavior was not very encouraging for him to hang on with them and then try different things with them. So he was again all over left. He was left alone. He was left alone to struggle, and then he shifted his base to Vrindavan, and from Vrindavan he was focused more on translating Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1 and publishing, again writing, arranging for paper, editing one's own writing, and then going to Delhi for printing the same, and then arranging, doing a proofreading, again printing final versions, creating cover page. The first canto of Bhagavatam had 3 volumes, so now we have it in one single book, big book, but earlier it came in 3 volumes. So all those 3 volumes, Prabhupada got this published, and and he was struggling single-handedly, and he was trying to do all these activities, and he was not seeing a lot of success coming in on his way. No disciples in India, and but at the backdrop of all these failures, now he wanted to go to America and preach in America, because he had just got his Bhagavatam published, and now he thought he was ready to go to America and fulfill the mission of his guru, fulfill the instruction given by his guru, which he's been carrying through his heart, in his heart for such a long time. So this background, with this background, when one is successful and one wants to replicate the success in some other place, that is understandable. But one is failing miserably from external standpoint, external material standpoint, Prabhupada can be labeled as a failure till the age of 70, because whatever he did was probably not successful from the material standpoint. But despite of having that, his determination to serve Krishna was unflinching, was never changed, never reduced, and that's what makes Prabhupada very special. Uh, at this age, with this backdrop, also he wanted to visit America and preach, and he thought he will become successful there. He said once that I see temples, I see disciples, lots of them, and that's all coming, and I must fulfill the wish of the instruction of my spiritual master. And that's how the instructions of our guru are important to us. Our guru, our teachers, our guides, our counselors, when they talk to us for our spiritual practice, for our spiritual progress, this is how we should take those instructions. This is how important those instructions are for our life. And when authorized, with bona fide spiritual teachers, they tell things to us, they are backed by parampara. Their words are backed by parampara. So we should not take instructions of a devotee lightly, because if we really work on this, they can change our life for better. So that is what we can learn, that how dear that instruction of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was to Prabhupada, and how much he was longing to fulfill that one desire of his spiritual master. It shows his commitment for his guru. It shows how much he loved his guru. It showed how much faith he had in his guru, and how much commitment he has for his guru. So it's a very ideal behavior that we can all hope to replicate, hope to learn from it, at least hope to at least appreciate it. How much we are able to do it in our practical life is something depends on us, each individual us, but at least appreciate that this is what Prabhupada was, and this is the legacy that we are following, and that should make us feel proud, even though because of our own limitations we may not be able to do everything that is been told to us. No doubt we should endeavor at least, but this is the legacy that we are following, so we should have complete faith that we are on right track. So with this background, when Prabhupada took this step, a little step on the Jaladuta, thinking that he will actually be able to reach America and actually be able to preach in America, it's considered to be the the biggest leap of faith that Krishna will protect. The only thing that he had with him is Krishna. This is Krishna's mission, so he has to take care of me. If he wants me to die on the ship, I let me die on the ship. If he wants me to go to America and become unsuccessful, let that be. Let that happen. I'm Krishna's and Krishna is mine. So I will do whatever he wants me to do. And that is the mood with which he took this step. It's considered to be the most giant step of faith, giant leap of faith by any mankind. As the ship was approaching Boston, he suffered on the voyage. He suffered 2 heart attacks. He survived through 2 heart attacks, and as the ship was obviously his health deteriorated completely. He was completely in the bad shape by the time he could reach America. As Vikas Prabhu mentioned, the sea voyage is not easy, and you so you at times you can't even eat anything. Whatever you eat you puke. Very difficult, very difficult. You don't see anybody else other than a few people, handful people who are not even visitors, who are working in the that particular ship as different departments. So it's not a very was not a very eventful voyage that he had. And after that, he reached, as he was approaching the Boston Harbor in America, he wrote one beautiful poem called Markine Bhagavata Dharma. Markina is brief or short form of Americane Bhagavata Dharma. How he is meditating what he's going to do. He's strategizing what he's going to do after landing in America. So the first, we'll study few stanzas of this particular beautiful poem, and how it basically reflect Prabhupada's mood. What is he thinking? What is he? How is he looking ahead at this particular challenge? How is he perceiving this particular challenge? So the first first very verse of this is the बड़ कृपा कैलो कृष्ण अधमेर प्रति की लागिया नीले हेथा करो इबे गति. My dear Lord Krishna, you are so kind upon this useless soul. Bada Krupa, Kailo Krishna, Bada Krupa, you've been greatly merciful, O Krishna, on whom this Adhamera Prati. Adhama, he's referring to himself, that upon this useless soul, Adham is the lowest of the mankind, is a Adhama. So that's his mood. That's how he's referring to himself. And he considers himself to be like this. So when you are in front of Krishna, when you are praying in front of Krishna, when we are in front of our Guru Maharaj, this should be our mood. That this is, I'm useless. So I'm extremely useless. I'm not even qualified to stand in front of you, oh Lord. But because of your mercy, you allowing me to do this. So please be more merciful to me. Please give me more mercy. I'm Adhama. I'm Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatara Mosama Patita Prabhu Napaibe Ara. So Vishnu Thakur, Nartam Das Thakur sings in his prayer, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More, that, oh Lord, Patita Pavana Hetu पतित लोगों का पावन करने के हेतु से आपने अवतार लिया है ओ लॉर्ड, एंड मेरे जैसा पतिता आपको कहीं नहीं मिलेगा. आई एम द मोस्ट फॉलोड ओ लॉर्ड, सो please bestow upon your mercy upon me. Now that's a mood Narottam Das Thakur, a great acharya, is singing, and that's a mood Prabhupada also demonstrate, that he doesn't feel ashamed that to refer himself as adharma. And then he says, you, by your great mercy you have done on me, O Krishna, and I am, who am I? I'm unqualified to receive your mercy. I'm not fit to receive your mercy, but still, because of your merciful nature, you are giving me this mercy. Prati is towards me. You've been showing this mercy towards me, who is completely fallen person, and that's how a great soul think of himself. When they say that amanina manadena or trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishtuna, now they actually practice this aspect. So they, but again, this has two aspects to it. When they are praying to Lord, they are in this mood. But when they are preaching for Lord, they are working for Lord, they are completely different person. And we'll look at that aspect very shortly. So when they are praying in front of Lord, they actually have this mood. They actually show this mood. They genuinely believe this is what they are. But when they work for Krishna, they work like lions. They go all out, and they do, they achieve wonders for wonders, do wonderful things for Krishna. So this is what Prabhupada is saying, that now he's asking a question that, oh my dear Krishna, you are so kind upon this useless soul, but I do not know why have you brought me here. Now you can do whatever you like with me. And this one verse has so much packed into it. Now, Prabhupada is also wondering that he suffered 2 heart attacks, and he, a 70-year-old man suffering 2 massive heart attacks on the middle of the ocean with no medical aid, he survived through both of them somehow. He also, by the mercy of Krishna, he survived. There are no hospitals, there are no care. I mean, that nobody took care of him, because there was no, on the middle of ocean, on the ship, moving ship, there are not going to be any facilities available. So he survived through all this, and then he's reaching Boston Harbor. He's seeing himself approaching Boston Harbor. Now he's saying that you brought me here alive, which means you have some plan for me, which he reveals in the next verse. But Krupa, now bada Krupa koilo Krishna adhamera prati. Now Krupa, where is the Krupa? Where is the mercy? Which mercy Prabhupada is referring to? Now Prabhupada, then this is again a speciality of all the acharyas, all our devotee examples, that they look for good around bad, whatever bad they might be in, but they have a tendency, they have an attitude to look for good things in every situation. In any situation, externally may appear to be good, bad, ugly. Our acharyas, our devotees, they look for good in each and every such situations. Just is my voice okay? Is there any issue with the voice?
No, Prabhuji. It's a very
It is fine, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Voice is fine. Audible.
Okay, sure. Let's proceed. So, what is the Krupa? Where Prabhupada see Krupa? Not that he's saying himself alive, arriving in United States. Now that was not the only Krupa. What all Prabhupada had? What were his weapons that he was going to fight a battle with Maya in America? What is it that he was carrying with him? So he was a Mahabhagavata, an authorized representative of God. He had direct instructions and mercy from his Guru Maharaj and entire parampara. He was scholar in Vaishnava philosophy. He was deeply in love with Krishna. He was skillful, and we'll talk about his skillfulness a bit later. And he was ever willing to enthusiastically speak about Krishna, to share love of Godhead with everyone. So these were his advantages, and this is what he possessed, and that because of which he saw every situation to be an opportunity to serve Krishna in every situation. Now he was in externally, if we see, he was in a big mess. uh, he was going to America where he knew nobody. There was a reference given by one of the Agarwal family, but to whom he had never met. Neither they have met him, so there was no connect between them. Then they also lived. He didn't knew whether to turn left or turn right after reaching America. He had no money in his pocket. He was just carrying 40 rupees, which he ultimately paid to a rickshawala when he returned from America. So without any institution, he knew nobody. There was no institution, there were no disciples, no money. And in this kind of a situation, he was approaching a completely unknown country. This was the first time he was traveling abroad. This was the first time he was going to step on another foreign land. And that time in India, there was a culture of sannyasis not leaving the ocean, not crossing the ocean. The sannyasi should not cross ocean, and that was to be considered as a one should follow it very strictly, because a sannyasi has to follow a lot of rules and regulation, and lot of they should stay away from temptations, and other lands are full with temptations, and hence a sannyasi should not cross the ocean. And here he had crossed 7 oceans to go to other side of the world. And as he was approaching that land, he was wondering what is he going to do there. Second point which we will look at is surrendered mood in service. Now, given the Prabhupada's background, one may feel that one may actually can become resentful when things don't happen according to our plan. Now imagine Prabhupada was trying to serve Krishna from 1950 till 1965, and he was failing in every day. He was failing. He was failing to do lot of. He didn't had practically much success. Now, after one is he was his business got uh, completely for no reason. His business went into big losses, and he had to wind it down. Then his family ties he had to sever in order to become a Vanaprasthi. After becoming Vanaprasthi also, he could not make much headway with the preaching mission. He couldn't make even one disciple. He couldn't open one temple. Uh, didn't had land, didn't had any institution to back him. And all this is happening while he is trying to serve Krishna. In this service of Krishna, this is all what one was getting, wherein other people who were preferring not to serve Krishna so much, or not to really worry about preaching mission so much. He could see his god brothers. They had opened one temple. They were having few disciples, and they were living a nice, comfortable life. But while Prabhupada was struggling at every step, publishing back to Godhead was a big struggle. Was distributing it, selling it, collecting money, raising money was a big challenge. Printing of Bhagavatam was a big challenge, and there are very elaborate description of this is given in Srila Prabhupada Leelamrut, and all of you should purchase one copy of that on the occasion of his appearance day, and should make an effort to read, to understand how much effort has been put by one person to give us what we have today, the ISKCON or the Krishna consciousness movement, which is saving the world, practically giving the world, showing a light to the world. In the whole dark world, there is this one single light which is becoming a guiding force for the entire humanity, and has a ability to deliver the entire humanity. The all mankind can be delivered by this process of Krishna consciousness. So So in the midst of all these disastrous results, reversals that Prabhupada was facing one after another, his mood to serve remained constant. It became relentless. So, uh, so despite of this, despite of all his challenges, his mood to serve Krishna never changed, and that was something special. That this is one special thing about devotees. Devotees, when they find themselves in trouble or problem, they don't ask why am I suffering. They ask how I can serve Krishna in this situation. In this given situation, what can I do for Krishna? How I can serve Krishna? And this is when bad thing happens to good people. What do? They often respond to such situation. Srimad Bhagavatam is such full of such examples. They don't react in situation; they respond to the situations, uh, thinking about keeping at the center the service attitude of Krishna. They want to serve Krishna in every situation, not only when the situation is favorable. Not they want to serve Krishna even if the situation is the most unfavorable. Bhagavatam is full of such examples, and so Parikshit Maharaj was cursed to die in 7 days. So what did he do? He immediately renounced entire his kingdom, palace, came to and on the came on the bank of Ganges and heard Srimad Bhagavatam from the mouth of Shukadev Goswami. Dhruva Maharaj was punished for cultivating remembrance of Krishna. We are all trying to cultivate remembrance of Krishna, and Prahlad Maharaj was told by his father, if you forget Krishna, I will do nothing. You will enjoy the kingdom. You'll become the next king. You'll enjoy this palace. You enjoy whatever you want to do. You do that, but you should forget Krishna for that. And Prahlad Maharaj refused to do that. And Prahlad Maharaj continuously remember Krishna despite of having to go through all the troubles that were offered by his father. Dhruva Maharaj was insulted by his stepmother, that he was not allowed to sit on the lap of his father. And then he was asked to go. Then he decided to go to jungle, took instructions from Narad Muni, and turned to Krishna, turned serve Krishna, and later also he ruled on behalf of Krishna. Krishna told him to gave him instruction to become a ruler. Prahlad also became ruler on the instructions of Narsimhadev. Kunti Maharani faced one challenge after another challenge. Now she 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 glorified those challenges and difficulties that were coming upon him because then she said, in every such situation I could remember you, and because you were there. So if our situation becomes better, now our war is over, Yudhishthir is going to become king, and everything seems to be falling in place, everything seems to be back to our old good days, and now you seems to be leaving us. So we will rather have troubles in our life so that we can have constant association of you, O Krishna. That is a mood of a devotee, that devotee wants to serve Krishna. Opportunity to serve Krishna itself is a krupa, and Prabhupada is grateful for the same to Krishna. That's where he see krupa. Externally looking, there is no krupa. Prabhupada, well, if we were to look at that person as an independent person, then we'll probably feel that he's out of his mind. Where is the krupa? There is, everything is our krupa. Opposite of krupa is there. And this is the Boston Harbor, probably this is look as of today, but I'm sure the look in 1965 was not different. America was progressive country at that time also, become number one country after World War II, become the power center, power of the world, the whole, the whole, she was the most powerful country in the whole world. The central power center of the world was America, and that America, Prabhupada says that. Let's see what Prabhupada referred to this America as. So Prabhupada is saying, "Ache kichu karya taba ei anumane, nahe nahe keno anibana ei ugrasthane." Prabhupada is saying that, but I guess this is my anuman. Prabhupada is talking to Krishna. This is my anuman that you have some business here. Otherwise, why would you bring me to this terrible place? What we saw is a dreamland for most Indians, that we want to go to America someday, one day at least. But Prabhupada is referring to that as a terrible place, Ugrasthane. And why? Because of the next verse that he reveals, Rajasa Tamo Gune Ei Sabai Achanna Basudeva Katharuchi Nahe Se Prasanna. Rajasa Tamo Gune Ei Era Sabai Achanna. Achanna is covered. Achanna means covered by what? Raja and Tamoguna. And what is the solution for that? Is Basudeva Katharuchi. Nahi se prasanna. To become prasanna, to become happy, they need to cultivate taste for hearing Vasudeva Katha. Tastefully, not just as a process, not just as a formality, but with taste they should hear Vasudeva Katha. If they can do that, then they can come out of Rajo and Tamoguna. Now, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, what is the speciality of this? Anybody wants to say why is considered to be bad? And Rajoguna, Tamoguna, what is the one speciality of this persons in Rajoguna, Tamoguna?
Staying away from Krishna consciousness, that's speciality.
That's true.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Any other thought? What is the speciality of this Rajoguni person, Tamoguni person?
Rajoguni persons are always passionate about achieving some materialistic pleasure.
Correct.
And Tamogunis are completely averse to whatever is happening in the world, actually, even on the materialistic platform. They just want to enjoy in their own terms and conditions.
Correct.
They are both in the mode of ignorance.
Ignorance. Yeah, Tamoguni is ignorance. Rajoguni is a mode of passion. But what speciality of these two modes?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Maya overpowers them?
Yeah, they are surrendered to Maya. They are Maya Das. जैसे कृष्ण दास होते हैं वैसे ये माया दास है. Completely true. Anything more? Any other quick thought?
It's very difficult, Prabhuji, for people with these two gunas to be spiritual because they'll be driven mostly by the material modes.
Correct. Sainath Prabhu, you want to say something?
No, that's all.
Shankaranand Prabhu?
प्रभु जी हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Yes.
प्रभु जी जैसे इस दो मतलब रजोगुण और तमोगुण में प्रभु जी मैक्सिमम तो प्रभु जी यही होता है आदमी के अंदर एक तो मायादास हो जाता है फर्स्ट थिंग और वो संसारिक मतलब जो वर्ल्ड के जो मटेरियल लाइफ के जो काम को ना उसी को ट्रू मान के चलता है और आलसी हो जाता है प्रभु जी और कुछ भी कर नहीं पाता है.
कुछ भी कर नहीं पाता. True.
Prabhuji, one thing I would like to say, they are entangled in the material mode of nature, and they cannot come out of the cycle of birth and death because they are in Rajo and Tamo.
Correct. Vinod Kumar ji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I personally feel that in every person all these gunas are there, and it needs to be in a balanced proportion. So even when we are doing bhakti and we are doing sadhana, at that time also all these gunas are there, and if they are at particular time, if they are in the correct proportion, then only we can proceed. We cannot remove, we cannot move away from any guna.
No. We are discussing what is a very prominent feature of these gunas. If we are you're right that we all will have all the three gunas. It's not about picking one and rejecting other two. We'll never be able to probably do that. But there is a prominence, predominance of guna. One guna overpower other. So when you have these two gunas overpowering or they are prominent gunas in you, what is your significant feature that becomes you?
So in this, if these two gunas are there, we will be away from, we will be entangled in the materialistic world, and we will be more kind of enjoying the senses, and we engage our senses into the enjoyment.
Understand? Yeah. So the predominant feature of anybody who has predominance of these two gunas is they only operate at bodily level. They have completely lack of spiritual vision. They cannot understand they being spirit soul, their spiritual nature cannot be understood to them. They cannot be explained the spiritual nature, because you cannot explain spiritual nature to an animal or to a dog or to a cat. They're actually at that level they become, because they only want to. So the spirit, why the America becomes Ugrasthan? Why is Prabhupada referring to that as a Ugrasthan? Despite of beautiful roads and beautiful buildings and beautiful malls and beautiful people that were there, Prabhupada is saying because of their, because because the because of their inability to access spiritual knowledge and make progress towards that. For that, you need to at least be situated in Sattva-guna. You need to have some Sattva-guna. And that Sattva-guna has to increase in order for us to contemplate and meditate on the spiritual knowledge, to get spiritual knowledge, and eventually you can develop Shuddha Sattva. That's the transcendental gunas can be manifested. But if you're completely predominantly operating only at the level of Rajoguna and Tamoguna, only you live to enjoy your senses. You simply live for eating, mating, sleeping, defending. You cannot think of fourth task in your life, and that's what makes if your consciousness is caught up in only these four things, then you cannot learn anything that is higher than these four things. And so that makes your path of back to Krishna more difficult. And that is the reason why spiritually, you become extremely, your prospects become extremely weak if you're covered by these two modes predominantly. And that's where Prabhupada is referring to this country as terrible place, not from material standpoint, but from spiritual standpoint. So Prabhupada is also a pure devotee of Lord. He sees, just like how Krishna sees us as souls, he doesn't see our bodies. But Prabhupada also see everybody as spirit soul, and then he is evaluating how much is their prospect of returning back to Krishna, how difficult it could be for them to return to Krishna. If they remain covered under these two modes, influence of these two modes, unless they give up these two modes, they show desire to give up these two modes, their hope for them to return to Krishna are become weaker and weaker, or it will take longer and longer. It's just like a doctor diagnose a disease. When he see a patient, he evaluates the patient, he diagnose, and then he decides that how deep rooted a particular disease is, and accordingly he can estimate that this patient can take a longer time, this patient can recover very quickly. So Prabhupada like that is evaluating the situation around him. And that's what his initial remarks were, that this is a terrible place, not because everyone here seems to be covered by the Rajo and Tamoguna. But Prabhupada also has a solution for this. What is the solution? He says, Vasudeva Katha Ruchi Nahi Se Prasanna. So if they want to become happy, they should hear Vasudev Katha with taste. But he says, I don't know how they will be able to do that. They will be able to understand it. So that's his mood. Now, this is what we mentioned, that it's Ugrasthan. So passion and ignorance, makes us, if we only remain in passion and ignorance, it makes us actually disqualified to hear and understand a spiritual message. We need to have some sattva. And as we say that this is a gunas, as we see in Bhagavad Gita later, there's always a constant battle happening between the gunas. And when one guna is trying to overpower the other guna, the sattva guna is fighting with rajoguna and tamoguna, and rajoguna is fighting with tamoguna and sattva guna, and so on and so forth. In rajoguna, tamoguna and sattva guna, when this fight is happening, a soul becomes the observer. And at times he's overpowered by all these gunas, and whatever they want, the soul simply follows their instructions. And things should be the other way around. The soul should be in control and not the gunas should be in control. Yes, Roji.
Prabhuji, I just want to have one question here. Even soul enjoys or take pleasure, whether it is directed to Krishna or anything, but that is through our bodily senses only. So when we are singing bhajan, that is all through the senses. Whether we are singing some Bollywood song or singing a bhajan is same senses. And now when we are in different material mode, the same senses are used at bodily level. And when we are in Sattva then same senses, soul enjoys the senses and pleasure of the senses through the bodily controls. But at that time, it is in the Sattva and the senses are the same. Whether we are using for enjoyment at bodily level or whether you are using for pleasure of our soul, but the same bodily senses are used in both the cases.
Yes, that is correct. The same senses, so the same senses are used, but when you use it for serving Krishna, that they get purified. That's a process of purification. So they are undergoing a process of purification when they are engaged in, they come in connect with Krishna. And using the same senses, we experience Krishna eventually. And that's how we get higher taste. And then we can easily give up the lower taste. So the soul has come to the world to enjoy. Our job is to find enjoyment somewhere. If we will not get higher enjoyment, we will search for lower enjoyments. And the lower enjoyments are higher enjoyments. All the enjoyments in this world can be experienced through our senses.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So, so hearing Vasudeva Katha with Ruchi is a test, or test that is a solution for people to overcome the overcome the rajo and tamoguni pravrutti and come to the level of sattva guna and eventually become shuddha sattva. Srila Prabhupada traveled around the world and spoke Krishna Katha, and he knows simply by hearing this, people in the yuga can be delivered. Srimad Bhagavatam was his weapon for mass deliverance. So Srimad Bhagavatam, so it is said that if you take bath in Ganga, even at least once, all your past sins can be washed out. You need to have that faith that it actually washed out. However, the pravrutti for making sinful action does not go away. That can go away only by hearing and chanting, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So Bhagavatam, along with the hearing and the chanting process, were the weapons for mass deliverance that Prabhupada came to America with, and this is what he used in his preaching mission. Now his mood is that of a surrender. Now he's thinking that without Krishna, your mercy, I can do nothing. So so he's saying that I know your causeless mercy. So in one of the stanza, he says that Tomara ichhaya sab hoya maya vasha, tomara ichhaya nasha mayara parasha. By your desire, O Krishna, everyone has got entangled into the Maya. But now, अगर तुम्हारी ही इच्छा होगी तो ये माया से बाहर भी आ सकते हैं. But I know your causeless mercy can make everything possible because you are the most expert mistake. He's wondering, how will I make them understand this message of Krishna consciousness? I'm very unfortunate, unqualified, and the most fallen. Therefore, I'm seeking your benediction, O Krishna, so that I can convince them, for I'm powerless to do so on my own. Now this shows how humble position that he's taking in front of Lord. And this is what he believes, that without Krishna, without your assistance, without your mercy, without your because unless you desire, I on my own cannot do anything. And that should be our mood while acting in this world also, that without Krishna, without your sanction, I cannot achieve anything. And hence, whatever successes that we get in our life, we should give due credit to Krishna. for his sanction, for his approval, for his desire, and for his mercy. So whatever we have with us today at a physical level, at our material level, we have our physical level, we have our healthy bodies. All of us have decent healthy body, youth. Some of you could be in youth, some of you could be in middle age, some of you could be in your older side, but all of you have some decent healthy body according to your age. All of you have some beauty, some talent, some skills, some intelligence, some memory. You have certain gifts from Krishna, which you are operating in this world. So you have strength. Some may have a lot of analytical skills. Some may have a lot of creative skills. Some may have, so different kind of skills are possess. We all possess, and all of those are gift by Krishna at a physical level. At material level, all of us would have taken some education. All of us would have had some, have PAN number, Aadhaar number, bank account, some property in our name, some future plans we have, and so on and so forth. So we have a job, we have family. This is at material level. We have good friend circle, influential friend circle, loving and caring family. That's all there at a material level. At a mental level, we have peace of mind. When we chant, we get peace of mind. We have happiness, we experience happiness, we experience peace of mind. So there are so many things that we experience at a mental level that we possess. And at a spiritual level, we have process of bhakti that we are connected with. We are connected with devotees. We are connected with temples. We are connected with a picture of Lord Krishna. We are connected. We offer bhoga to him. We sit in front of that deity and chant every day. We pray to that deity. We visit temples. We have devotee friends. We have non, and we have we visit dham. So we have some way in which we can get connected and practice spirituality. So at physical level, at mental level, at material level, at mental level, and at a spiritual level, at four level, we have so many things. And for all of these things, we should be thankful to Krishna. We should be thankful to Krishna for showing us, giving us what we have. And we often say that we should make a list of all these things, and we should say, because you have given me, I'm thankful to you, Krishna. Because you have given me, I'm thankful to you, Krishna. And then that list will give us a mood of will help us cultivate that surrendered mood. That because Krishna, without your mercy, I'm nothing. I cannot even survive for 1 second, and I cannot speak. You cannot hear. We all cannot see. So everything is possible because of the mercy from Krishna, because of the sanction from Krishna. And we should all be grateful to Krishna for giving us all this facility. In 14th verse, Prabhupada says something very significant. That complete surrender is where Arjuna says to Krishna that Nashto moha smritir labdha tvat prasadan maya achyuta stitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. That karishye vachanam tava, this verse comes as the 72nd verse, 72 verse in 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna declares to Krishna that what karishye vachanam tava, you tell me what to do, I will do. You tell me kill him, I'll kill him. I'll no questions asked. And whatever you desire, I will do. Now, a similar mood Prabhupada is expressing in the 14th verse in this particular song, that नचाइले जदि प्रभु अनिच्छायो जदि प्रभु अमारा नचाते नचाओ नचाओ प्रभु नचाओ से मते कष्टेर पुतली यथा नचाओ से मते. Oh Lord, I am just like a puppet in your hand. So if you have brought me here to dance, then make me dance. Make me dance, oh Lord, make me dance as you like. You make me dance. And so Prabhupada has no ego that I'm a sannyasi, I'm a scholar, I'm qualified Bhakti Vedanta, I've done my this degree, I've done my that degree, I'm learned scholar, I've educated man. I know I've met President of India, I met Prime Minister of India, so many ministers I know personally. Now he had zero ego. He's saying to Lord that you make me dance the way you want me to dance. You make me dance, O Lord. So that's a complete surrender. So this is Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. So Prabhupada is prepared to do anything for Krishna without any personal ego, without any personal desire. Whatever Krishna you want me to, do, I will do. so almost for 1 year, so this is what Prabhupada's mood was when he arrived in America. And what happened after that? For 1 year, Prabhupada had to tolerate a lot. Now, his purpose, what was his purpose with which he arrived in America? He wanted to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what is that message? He wanted everybody to accept Krishna consciousness, wanted to hear Krishna Katha, wanted to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and thereby cultivate the remembrance of Krishna, wanted people to give up their sinful activities, wanted people to become sattvic and adopt a Brahmanical culture, Brahmanical qualities, learn Brahmanical qualities, and practice all this and preach it to others, get benefit themselves, and then pass on that benefit to others, and thereby spread the whole movement all over the world. Now, this is a very lofty vision that Prabhupada had. And this could be done by way of opening a facility. Means you need to open temples so that a temple can give people a place where they can learn, they can get knowledge, they can see examples, because Prabhupada wanted to initiate disciples who would set an example in front of society that how this can be practiced in reality, because it's not theoretical, it's possible to be done in practical way. So those disciples of his would present themselves as an example to the society, and then temple will give that facility where people can come and practice Krishna consciousness and become come out of Tamo guna and Rajoguna and come to Sattva guna, and eventually become Shuddha Sattva, come to the platform of Shuddha Sattva, where all their actions are for service of Krishna. And they may act in any guna, but they will act for the service, for the pleasure of Krishna. All their desire is to give pleasure to Krishna, not to seek desire themselves. So this is a Shuddha Sattva platform. So if the whole world, this has to be done to the whole world, then this is what his purpose. And for this purpose, the purpose is so high, so lofty, that Prabhupada had to tolerate so many things in order for him not to lose focus on this purpose. So what happens is, if we are going for a very urgent meeting, and if somebody stops us on the way, we don't really we ignore those things, because our meeting is so important for us that we want to go there without any distraction, without losing our concentration, without losing our thoughts, without losing what we have prepared. So we don't want to get distracted. And in that case, if somebody nudges us, somebody says something to us, we tolerate it, because we don't want to we don't want to lose focus on our purpose for which we are going. We're going for a very important meeting. Similarly, Prabhupada, while he was having this purpose behind in his mind, for which he had come all the way to America, the journey from his arrival till formation of ISKCON, where he actually got few disciples, was not very easy. It was again filled with lots of struggle. We used to live in a very jhopadpatti kind of a situation in America. Lower Bowery side is considered where homeless people will stay. People will sleep on the streets. People will be taking drugs in broad daylight, and they will doze off. They will pass urine and stool on the streets. They will all of them, all of them were in prime youth, but they were all growing long hairs. They were not taking bath. and there were guns everybody was carrying. There were shootouts frequently that would happen in that area. Even today they continue even today, but very very poor law and order situation, very poor very poor condition to live in general, and many homeless people were struggling, roaming around in that area. So lots of theft would happen, lot of crimes would happen in that area, and without any major check from police. So it was not a very easy content. That was the only place where he could live, because it would have a common toilet facility for people which he would have to use. He would stand in queue and then use those toilets after those because only homeless people will come there. Who else will come in the popular this kind of a facility? And he would walk few miles every up and down and buy basic groceries for his survival. So very tough time that he faced. But and all throughout he was dealing with those uncultured people who would not pay respect to him, who would insult him if possible, and lack of basic facilities for survival. So he kept going on despite of all these challenges, because he was focused on his purpose. Now for his purpose, when he say that nachailo prabhu nachailo se mate, now he's not just saying, this is words which are coming from his heart. He's convinced in his heart that this is what he will have to do to fulfill the order of this Guru Maharaj. If if while fulfilling that order, he was prepared to take any hardship that would come on its way. He was not worried of that. And he not only wrote in the poem, which at times it's easy to write, he also exhibited, he also demonstrated by his conduct. For the first 1 year was extremely difficult for Prabhupada to survive. Eventually, eventually the devotees arrived, and then the Prabhupada gave credit to his Guru Maharaj. He said, all of you were sent by him, because I kept praying to him that please send me somebody to assist, because I'm alone, I'm helpless, I'm not able to do anything. So all of you are sent by him. So he used to give full credit to his disciples, and he would consider it to be the glory of his, or the mercy of his Guru Maharaj. So while Prabhupada was tolerant, he was surrendered in front of Krishna while praying to Krishna. He was tolerant to be able to keep focus on the mission that with which he came to America. But he was also aggressive to protect the purpose. He was tolerant to pursue the purpose, but he was aggressive to protect the purpose from the world. When his purpose was threatened, he fought wars. He fought wars with people. so, so he was prepared to fight against the whole world to protect his purpose, to protect his Krishna and his Krishna consciousness movement. And for this, the lots of controversies came up, lots of court cases came up, and he fought. He had disciples, he had resources. When he was in a situation, he fought wars against the world, against the materialist. He fought war against the impersonalist. He fought war against Mumbai landlord. He fought a war. He fought many court battles against in many countries, in America, in Poland, in Russia, in India, and all kind of battles that he fought, because he didn't he's a true lover of Krishna. And as a true lover, he will do everything for Krishna. He will suffer for Krishna, for his pleasure, and he is going to fight for his pleasure as well. So he is a true lover of Krishna, and that's what a true lover will do. He will do wonderful things for his beloved. So Prabhupada was, and while doing so, no matter how difficult it will be, he will still do it. So that's what Prabhupada did, and he tolerated so much to did what he wanted to do for Krishna. He wanted to build palaces for Krishna all over the world. He wanted the whole world to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and dance and eat prasad. That's what he did. He went to America, he did exactly that. He wanted Ratha Yatras to be conducted all over the world. And today we know from San Francisco to Tokyo, Ratha Yatras takes place. So as a true lover of Krishna, Prabhupada wanted to do anything and everything for Krishna. And for in the process, he was prepared to suffer suffered anything to any extent he wanted to suffer. It was okay for him, as long as he's continue to pursue his purpose. But the moment somebody threatened, there was a threat that he perceived again that came up against Krishna. He fought like a lion to protect his Krishna consciousness movement, to protect his purpose. So for protecting the purpose, he was aggressive like a lion. He fought many battles. And so this again shows that three different ways. He was in front of Krishna. He was extremely humble. He was seeking mercy, begging mercy from Krishna. While acting for Krishna's purpose, he was tolerant, and while protecting Krishna's purpose, he was aggressive. Now, this is how. So this makes a complete lover. This makes a complete package of somebody who is in deep love with the other person. And Prabhupada was in deep love with Krishna. And he would give up his Vrindavan to spread Krishna consciousness around the world. So not only he did wonderful things, he gave up a lot of things. He gave up a lot of his comforts in Vrindavan, and to come out in the Western world to give Krishna consciousness to everyone. So this is what a true lover will do, and this is what Prabhupada did for Krishna, and he gave full credit to Krishna. No skill is useless in service of Krishna. So Prabhupada, while he established 1966, he established ISKCON with handful of disciples, and then established New York Temple, established San Francisco, Montreal, and then every major city of America, a temple was popping up. Boston, then Dallas was there. Many Houston and all the new temples. Denver temple came up. He visited Denver. So many big cities, America, in America and Canada, the temples were popping up. Then he sent his 6 disciples to UK to establish Radha Londoneshwar temple. Got connected with George Harrison there. He visited London many times, and London became a headquarters for the European countries. So devotees from all over Europe would come to London to meet Prabhupada, take his guidance, and so that they can go back to their respective countries and spread Krishna consciousness there. So while all this was happening, it was not easy. Now Prabhupada, remember, Prabhupada was probably a learned man in the pre-independence era. He did his education from convent, went to college, went to art college, but and had some skills with himself, obviously, and he was perfectly trained by his father and his Guru Maharaj in Krishna consciousness. But he demonstrated a far greater set of skills and in building up this movement of ISKCON. And some of the skills we've listed, that he was expert cook. Now Prabhupada, got the first marriage in ISKCON took place when Mukunda Das Adhikari. Mukunda Das was married to Janaki Devi Dasi. And so they were the first couple. The Prabhupada got them married in New York. And it is said that he cooked single-handedly. He cooked a 14-course meal for the marriage. and he cooked so many varieties. Yamuna Devidasi, who is Janaki's elder sister, she came from for attending this marriage along with some of her friends, and then she was assisting Prabhupada in cooking. And then there is a big huge description of how many items were cooked and in what quantity, and then how instructions he was giving to her, and she eventually become best cook that we have had in ISKCON. She wrote a book on cooking as also, which became a very famous very famous book, cooking book in ISKCON. But so cooking is his it was extremely instrumental. That he used to he would cook practically everything. He would cook kachoris, he would cook dal roti, sabzi, then rasgulla, sandesh, and everything and anything and everything that he would cook, and he would it would all be tasty. And without prasad, the ISKCON couldn't have grown. ISKCON could have grown without prasad? So prasad played a major role in bringing devotees and keeping devotees in the moment. And before they could discover the taste of Harinam, prasad was the first taste that they discovered. So prasad cooking, so his cooking skill was so crucial in establishing and spreading of ISKCON. And then he would teach this to all the others, and they would become expert. They would teach others, and that's how obviously the movement spread. But he himself was original cook, and one of the most expert cook that we all know. The deity worship, he was Brahmana, and obviously he was trained by his father and his Guru Maharaj in deity worship. Then singing and playing musical instruments. You see here, Prabhupada, one picture he's cooking, one picture he's playing playing this mridanga in the recording studio. So he was open-minded. He was open to try different ways and means for spreading Krishna consciousness. That time, whatever was the latest, he was not afraid of using that technology or that medium of communication to explore spreading of Krishna consciousness. So he went to television studios. So I had live debates. He participated in live debates with other people of other faith, people or philosophers from other countries, and he participated openly and fearlessly. He was exploring new options to spread Krishna consciousness. He organized in San Francisco, he organized Mantra Rock, where he invited the local famous bands to play on the Hare Krishna Mahamantra tune. Different bands played this tune in different ways, and the whole crowd that they assembled was dancing on Hare Krishna Mahamantra that whole night. And he himself also visited it, chanted along with them, sing along with them, dance along with them. And so he was completely open for trying new ways of doing things. Now, this is something unheard of in a traditional Indian culture, but Prabhupada was open, bold enough to explore and experiment because he was in a foreign land and a completely different country where the traditional means, the old tried and tested traditional methods of preaching could have become insignificant, could not have succeeded. So he was open to try out new things. He published albums. He participated in many live radio shows. He recorded his own album, his own songs, and then got those published, got those got those into the market, so that people can hear him, even though the devotees are not present at that place. Also, the records can reach and people can hear about Krishna. They can sing Krishna conscious, they can become Krishna consciousness by hearing Prabhupada singing. Counseling, people management and counseling was a big part of his later writing. All his people, as he was making newer devotees, he was initiating devotees, he was opening centers and temples. He was traveling all over the world constantly, and people would connect with him through letters, and they would send letters, and then he would respond to them whenever possible. And that way, and those letters, everybody was new. This culture, they were all unknown to this culture. So they would all have basic questions, basic difficulties in their day-to-day running the temple, running of temple, and they were all given temples to manage. We don't have even our home altar to manage, but they were given major temples to manage. So they were all struggling, and Prabhupada they were all fighting also at times amongst each other about I am right, this is what Prabhupada want to do, this is what Prabhupada want to do, and there would be issues, there would be typical wherever there are people related issues, and they all need counseling, they all need proper cultivation, they all need proper assistance, and Prabhupada would do that all the time. He was also doing general management, because the moment you create an institute, there are bank accounts, then there are audits, then there are controls need to be in place, there is inventory that needs to be taken care of, then there is a book printing, then book sale, then again that leads to the finances that need to be arranged, the prasadam need to be cooked and distributed, the Rath Yatras need to be arranged, and so many things to be done. Running a temple, one temple, we have in our Vaishnava calendars, we have so many festivals coming up. Every now and then, every alternate week we can have one festival, actually to be celebrated. So all that require great management skills. Prabhupada not only demonstrated it when he was in charge, later on he trained others to do that. Strategy, where which cases to be fought, where battles to be fought, where what to do, which countries to be explored, where to put focus on, where we see more potential for developing Krishna consciousness, how to prioritize. All that required a lot of thinking, a lot of strategic thinking, and Prabhupada demonstrated that. Financial management, I mentioned, he made every temple a financially independent temple, so that there is no counter dependency on each other. So all of them can print books, run books, and then accordingly run their centers effectively. And that was done in those 12 years very successfully. Uh, Now, while he was doing all this, now he was using multiple skills. So Prabhupada demonstrated that no skill is useless. Every skill can be used for Krishna's pleasure. So there are so many artists that he got hold of. Those were artists in his devotees and artists. So he engaged them in painting for Krishna pastimes, various Krishna's pastimes, which appeared in his books as color pictures. So there were lawyers who were fighting cases for ISKCON. Um, others. There were some scientists who were presenting Krishna consciousness on the scientific forums, who were representing Krishna consciousness in those forums. And so practically every skill Prabhupada, whatever skill he had, negotiation skills, real estate matters, or whatever skill anybody would have, Prabhupada could use it, engage that skill in serving Krishna. So with this, uh, you know, uh, but yeah, of course, he also knew that without Krishna's mercy, nothing was achieved, and hence praying for the same with the humility. So he would act. While acting, he was acting to win the world, conquer the world, but in the back of his mind, he would always be praying with humility to Krishna. And we see in the surrendered mood that how his prayers were, and in the reality also he believed in those prayers, but because he demonstrated the same when the situations demanded him to be tolerant, he was tolerant. Mood of Vrindavan. This is the last point, and again a very significant mood. What is the mood in Vrindavan? Vrindavan is known for 24/7 remembrance of Krishna, a selfless service to Krishna, sacrifice for Krishna. People are humble in Vrindavan, consider themselves to be the servant of Krishna. Vrindavan mood is demonstrated by all Brajavasis, especially gopis. They don't consider to be the masters. They consider to be all the servants of Krishna. They are all subordinate to Krishna. They all want to give pleasure to Krishna. They all want to sacrifice everything that they have for Krishna in a selfless way, and they never forget Krishna. These are a few few peculiar qualities or characteristics of Brajavasis, especially gopis, and Prabhupada also demonstrated the same mood. Let's see, a mood of Vrindavan. In Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, this particular verse comes where where the gopis are talking, discussing amongst themselves that certainly this particular gopi has perfectly worshipped the all-powerful personality of Godhead, Govinda, since he was so pleased with her that he abandoned the rest of us and brought her to a secluded place. A beautiful verse. Anaraya Anayaradhito nunam bhagavan harihareshwaraha yanno vihaya govindaha prito yamana yada raha. What's happening here? So this comes in the rasa dance pastime of Lord Krishna in the 10th canto. In the 29th verse, the first verse says that how Krishna and gopis, they surrendered to the Yoga Maya because they were now to perform rasa dance pastime. And so during that, there were hundreds and millions of gopis, and Krishna expanded himself to be able to dance with each and every gopi independently. Now, while Krishna was with each and every gopi dancing independently, dancing separately, every gopi thought she is only one who is dancing with Krishna. That Krishna is exclusively giving attention to her only. And that made that those gopis proud. They become proud. The moment Krishna detected pride in the heart of gopis, he disappears from the scene. Now he cannot stand the anarthas. Krishna is not accessible with anarthas in our heart. So we go and bathe Krishna, we do Abhishek. All that is possible because he's he's agreed to accept our worship due to the request from our Acharya, like Srila Prabhupada. Because of his request, he comes and appears there as a deity and accepts service from us. But otherwise, with anarthas in our heart, we cannot approach God. So gopis, the moment anartha entered their heart, the pride is one of those anarthas. Krishna was not accessible to them from then. Once Krishna was gone, they started searching for Krishna everywhere. And they realized that they saw some footsteps going inside the forest, deep inside the forest. And there were two sets of footsteps. So they realized that Krishna has gone from this pathway and he has not gone alone. Then they are now contemplating that, okay, if he has not gone alone, and we are here, he has not gone with us, then he must have certainly gone to a secluded place with Radharani. And Yogamaya, now why this arrangement? Because gopis understand that Radharani is a special devotee. The Radharani we all are not same. Radharani is far superior devotee of Lord Krishna. Her surrender to Krishna is far greater than what we have. Her love for Krishna is far greater than what we have. Her ability to do things for Krishna is far more than what we have. So in the Rasa dance, all of them were dancing at par. He said then they felt that she should not be treated at par with us. She is better than us. So she should get a special treatment. And in that mood, the Yogamaya arranged that pride to appear in the heart of gopis. And the moment Krishna sees that pride, and he disappears, and then gopis become extremely sad. That having lost association of Krishna, they become extremely sad, and then they start searching for Krishna. On the other side, Radharani is now understand that she's gone inside the forest along with Lord Krishna, her own the most beloved object of her eyes. And then, but now she is worried that because she understands that all the gopis also love Krishna and so much that how will they be able to bear the separation? Now Krishna has disappeared and has gone inside the forest along with Radharani. So now Radharani becomes more worried about for the gopis. What will happen to them? Now they lost Krishna. They had Krishna a moment before, and now they have lost Krishna. They will certainly give up their bodies. This is what Radharani is thinking. Radharani is worried for their life of those gopis. Now she's in exclusive association of Lord Krishna, who is her most beloved object in this whole planet. But now she's having got that. Now she's not worried about her own enjoyment. She's worried about what will happen to those gopis. They will give up their bodies. How will they bear the pain of separation from Krishna? What will happen to them? Will they be able to survive? Will they be able to stay alive once they find out that Krishna has left them in the middle of this rasa dance? And so gopis are thinking about Radharani, and Radharani is thinking about gopis. Now this is a mood of Vrindavan. This is the mood that Prabhupada also demonstrated, that he is worried about the souls we are wandering in this world without Krishna. And that's why he stepped out of Vrindavan and give Krishna consciousness to everyone. So on the gopis, what do? They tried searching for Krishna everywhere. They get tired and return to the banks of Yamuna, and then they sit in a circle and call Krishna by offering beautiful prayers from their heart. So these prayers are known as Gopi Geet. And then Krishna could not be found by personal effort, by their search, but he could be found by the prayers. He responded to the prayers, and by his own will, he appeared. He appeared as a mercy. So Srila Prabhupada had intense love for Krishna, the most desirable object in this entire universe. And he still stepped out of Vrindavan. He gave up Krishna's association, and took the association of material world, despite there being a risk of losing Krishna. He never lost Krishna. So Prabhupada once said that I will never get overpowered by Maya. I can never be under the spell of Maya. And then one of his disciples asked him, because you chant 16 rounds, because you do all this, or he said no. The devotees gave many reasons. Because of this, you think you will never come under Maya, so that we can replicate those things. Then Prabhupada said, no, that's all true. That's true, but that's not fully correct. It's right, but it's not complete answer. Then he said, what is the complete answer, Prabhupada? Then Prabhupada said that I will not come under the influence of Maya. I will not be overpowered by Maya, because I pray to Lord Krishna to save me from Maya every day. He says, without Krishna's mercy, I cannot fight Maya. And so he says that every day I go in front of Lord and I pray to him that to save me from Maya, to save me from the influence of Maya. And that's why I will never be under the influence of Maya. Maya cannot touch me. Not because of his own sadhana, but because of his faith on the mercy of his own Lord. He says, Maya cannot touch me. Now that was his mood. So he stepped out of, but if you don't have that mood, stepping out of Vrindavan could become a big risky decision, because you can lose Krishna. Whatever you have can also be lost because you may fall prey to temptations of the world that the world has to offer. So Prabhupada was never tempted. In fact, he gave Krishna to others. He could give Krishna to others. So what he's done is, Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, but he took Krishna out of Vrindavan to America, to Canada, to England, to Germany, to France, to Tokyo, and all over Australia, all over the world. He took Krishna. He requested Mahaprabhu to stay there and give intelligence to these people so that they can serve him nicely. He requested Krishna to appear in Radha Rasbihari deity. He appeared Krishna to appear in Radha Landaneshwar deity. He requested Krishna to appear in San Francisco, Radha Dwarkadish deity. Los Angeles deity, and Melbourne deity, and Sydney deity, and Tokyo deity, and Kuala Lumpur deity, and everywhere, wherever he went, he established deities, he created temples, he formed temples, so that all the three components that are required can be given to people to become devotees and to come out of the influence of rajo and tamoguna, and develop taste for hearing Krishna Katha, develop taste for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, develop taste to eat prasad, and develop taste to remember Krishna 24/7. So he did that by taking great risk because of his eagerness to share Krishna with the whole world. Just how gopis wanted to give Krishna to Radharani and Radharani wanted to give Krishna to Gopi. So similarly, Prabhupada wanted to give Krishna to all of us. He was happy with Krishna being present. He was happy in the association of him. But his real happiness comes by sharing. And by sharing, his happiness increases. So he carried Krishna with him wherever he went. He created Vrindavan wherever he went. And Krishna reciprocated with him by giving more than 5,000 disciples, 108 temples, and glory that is never ending. So that's the mood. That's what we discuss, I think, about Srila Prabhupada. We do a quick summary and then we will go to question answers, if any. So Srila Prabhupada take a giant leap of faith. Leap of faith is where you, as described by someone, that you jump from a place with a faith that somebody will protect you. Now it could be jumping out of an aircraft with hoping that you'll be caught by or your parachute will work, or your monkey jumping saying that your hook, whatever you are hooking to something, so that hook will not malfunction and you'll actually not fall down. So this leap of faith, these are a great leap of faiths. But that's still at a material level. What Prabhupada took a giant leap of faith in the humanity to hope that he will become successful in America, having just failed in India at the material level, was a great faith he demonstrate on Krishna, that Krishna will provide, Krishna will protect. I don't have to, if I have to die, I don't want to, let me die while fighting a battle for Krishna, rather than sitting in my comfort zone. So this is mood of a warrior. This is mood of a warrior, a brahmana who also has kshatriya qualities, who want to die fighting a battle rather than living in the comforts of his own, by provided by his own God. So he choose to go there. So even before his departure on 14th November 1977, in October, he returned in late October. He became a little better and he went to London on a preaching tour, which was his last tour. And he returned from London and then he just stationed himself in Vrindavan till 14th of November. And when he actually left the body, left this planet. So this is his faith. This is his full trust on Krishna, that Krishna will protect, Krishna will provide, and I have nothing else to do but to serve Krishna in every situation. If this does not work out, I will want to serve Krishna in other way. If this does not work out, I will still figure out some other way. But ways can change. The methods can change. The options can emerge. New options can emerge. But desire to serve never change. And that was constant. So while worshipping, while praying to Krishna, he was completely surrendered to to Lord Krishna and his Guru, and considered himself as their servant, as their completely powerless servant. And he would say that he's completely dependent on their mercy, on all the power they will give, he will utilize. All the skills they will give, he will utilize. On his own, he says, I cannot do anything. I cannot achieve anything. So he was completely dependent, of complete dependence on Krishna. And that was his mood when he was praying. When he was performing actions, acting in this world, he was tolerating. Why? Because he was keeping focus on his purpose, because his purpose was to give Krishna to everyone, the whole of humanity. And for doing that, if he had to suffer at a physical level, material level, he was prepared to undertake any kind of sufferings for service of Krishna. tolerant. He tolerated all hardships, and he was prepared to fight all battles for Krishna. Now, this is sign of true lover. A true lover will do everything for his beloved, and that's what Prabhupada was prepared to do for Krishna. He fought wars for Krishna, for protecting Krishna and his ISKCON. Every skills that he possessed, he used it in service of Krishna. Every skill that he noticed that devotees possess, he engaged those skills in service of Krishna. That's why the skills are purified, the people are purified, and people become transcendentalists. People become dear to Krishna. Everybody moved closer to Krishna by in this way. He took Krishna out of Vrindavan. We've discussed that, how he did that, and he established Krishna in all over the world, all over the temples which were established all over the world, where now there is a knowledge. There is a books that he gave, wrote more than 70 books, plus the interviews, plus the different lectures, letters, and everything that was written by him became a source of teaching, became a source of philosophy. The songs he wrote, the translation he wrote, everything was used in preaching mission. Or the so he wrote books. He gave a personal example. He taught by personal example to his disciples, and his disciples taught by their personal example to the rest of the population, and that's how the parampara continued. So he gave the philosophy, he gave knowledge, philosophy, he gave example, and he created facility by establishing temples where anybody who is desirous of coming out of Rajo and Tamoguna, wants to pursue Krishna consciousness. The temple are those facilities where Krishna is present, devotees are present, knowledge is available, facility is available. You can sit down and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra now and take maximum advantage, so that more and more people can get connected with Krishna. More and more people can get a benefit of this whole process and become Krishna conscious. So having all of us having come in contact with Krishna consciousness, now been hearing about Krishna and Krishna consciousness, Bhagavad Gita, for all of you probably must be hearing for more than a year or so. Some of you even more than 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever is our association with Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada's ISKCON, is that now we should take full advantage of this by taking up Krishna consciousness with all sincerity and commitment, so that uh, we do what Prabhupada wanted us to do, to become dear to Krishna, to come closer to Krishna, and to bring other people closer to Krishna by engaging ourselves in services, by using our talent in service of Krishna, by using our skills and abilities in service of Krishna, thereby purifying ourselves while we are operating in this world, and go back to Krishna when time will come for us to leave this world. So with this, we will end today's session. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions? We can discuss some of the questions that anybody might have.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
It was very enriching session, Prabhuji. Means how we should cultivate the qualities in us, and Srila Prabhupada has shown by his personal example. And I once heard one devotee, he was talking about the philosophy of Srila Prabhupada, that practice before you preach. And that is why the philosophy taught by Srila Prabhupada was actually appreciated and adopted by one and all in the foreign countries also, whoever came in contact with Srila Prabhupada. And it can be seen, and even in the senior devotees, we can see that whatever they are preaching, they are practicing it first. So live example, everything is coming like in parampara. So the mood should be whatever you have explained is the point of cultivation in the single individual, each and everyone who joins the Krishna consciousness mission. Just you mentioned just one thing in there, that when you were mentioning that we have got certain different levels, that on body levels we have got some requirement, on family level, on materialistic level we have got like our family attachment, our mind, and our businesses, jobs, etc. So how to transcend, though this is most of the time explained by many of the devotees, acharyas, that we should try to follow the four regulative principle, be in ABCD, and uh, that is the just mantra of that. But and again, the mercy is this accelerating factor for that. But what should be the individual practice on that we can transcend the modes of material nature, especially the materialistic attachment, whatever we maintain because of our karmas given to us by Krishna, as Krishna says in 18th chapter that whatever activities, whatever karma we are doing, even though they may be sinful, but those must be performed. It's performing those is better than performing some karmas for others and doing that perfectly. So doing own karmas are even in perfectly are to be done, and this is said by Krishna in 18th chapter. So to my understanding, actually, it comes to that how I can make a speedy progress in terms of that to leave the attachment as much as early as possible, though not leaving my duties aside, and come to a platform which is the ultimate truth, that is becoming 100% devoted in the service of Krishna through Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much, Prabhuji,
So,
for your.
yeah, thank you so much, Uji. So basically, at our level, we are all grahastas. At this stage, we'll not be able to move to the we cannot change ashram at this stage. We cannot become brahmachari. We cannot even vanaprastha also is a little far away for most of us. So how we can progress is by becoming by not giving up our responsibilities, and but performing our responsibilities with detachment. Now detachment, the way it is used is sometimes can be misunderstood to be irresponsible. Now it's not an option to be irresponsible. It's not that we should not care for our children. We should change our attitude, the way we look at our children, where we should change to our attitude to way we look at our people around us, the near and dear ones. And easy way of doing it is at different levels. Everybody will be at different level, but uh, how we understand it, we have a vertical relationship with Krishna, and we have horizontal relationship with everyone, our immediate family members, our children, our parents, our spouses, and our friends, and our office colleagues, everything. Now the vertical relationship is something that we have, all of us have to individually cultivate and strengthen, and hearing and chanting is the process for cultivating remembrance of Krishna. All the horizontal relationships which are there, they should help us work on our vertical relationship, not become a distraction for our vertical relationship. If they become distraction by any reason, then we need to work on those relationships so that that distraction factor goes away or reduced. Some stages we may not be able to do that, achieve that fully, but wherever we can. So this should be our focus of attention, that the primary focus is on the vertical relationship with Krishna. The secondary focus is on the horizontal relationship with which all of us are having. And we can give up those horizontal relationships if they become a major distraction for pursuing a vertical relationship. But that can happen in very drastic situation, where like Prahlad Maharaj kind of a situation, where just for remembering Krishna, you have been thrown from a cliff, top of a cliff, you have been trying to kill. Those are the situations where you can actually give up those horizontal relationships, which are becoming a major source of distraction. Now, none of us are likely to be in that kind of a situation. But what we understand is that these horizontal relationships also need to be worked upon to basically accept them, mitigate them, and tolerate, while continuing to focus on the vertical relationship. Now, these three things at our level we definitely can do. We can accept what we have is, so none of, if we have an unfavorable spouse who hate Krishna, or who wants to go to movies or malls and pubs and bars rather than going to temple. Uh, so one way of looking at it is, it's not by accident that you've been given such a spouse. there is bad karma because of which you've been. So any relationship can give us pleasure or give us suffering based on it's arranged, and they just become a carrier or just become a courier boy or courier postman kind of a thing. They just deliver those sufferings through their actions, and it's not by accident that we ended up in those kind of a situations where we are even though we are pursuing a higher cause, we are being made to suffer. So at our one level, that agreement as understanding needs to be there. Constant reminder has to be done that this is probably what is sanctioned by Krishna. It's not by accident it has happened. And so there is an acceptance to it. Then there is a mitigation that we need to work upon. We need to improve what we can. In every situation can be improved. We can do something in every situation to make that situation better. And so that is a mitigation strategy that what we can do to make sure that our focus on Krishna is not disturbed as much as we can do that. Third is tolerance. We have to be tolerant. We have to tolerate at times and still continue to pursue bhakti. And that way we will be able to continue our focus on bhakti, and eventually with Krishna's mercy, with praying to Krishna, those disturbing factors will actually go away. So it's ideal to have a very it's very idealistic to have perfect situation for for performing bhakti, but unlikely that we all will get those perfect situations. And Krishna will like us performing bhakti in unfavorable situations also, rather than waiting for us to be in a favorable situation and then start performing bhakti. So as a so that's why so he cannot, so that's why that's what he will like, he will love that. So if I come home and my daughters immediately come running, give me a glass of water, ask me about how was my day, now that is what I will like. But on the other hand, I can make a rule in my home that whenever I come home, if you don't give me my one glass water, you will not get dinner that time, that night. Now, as a matter of rule, if I make it, my daughters probably will give because they all want to eat dinner. So, but then that is not love. There is no love in it. So Krishna want us to do things on spontaneously in a very in a loving way, and he likes it. So all of us probably may not have best of situations, or we want better situations to be in so that we can perform bhakti better. We want to wait for tomorrow when that situation, this situation will happen, that will happen, then I will start performing more sincere bhakti. But Krishna doesn't want you to do that. That postponement is not something that Krishna is liking. Krishna wants us to start performing bhakti today, in the condition that you are in today, in the situation that we are in today. And when we choose Krishna over resentment, or ये मेरे साथ क्यों हो रहा है, ये अच्छा नहीं है, वो अच्छा नहीं है, ये बुरे है, ये सब नहीं होता तो मैं अच्छे से चैंटिंग करता, ये सब नहीं होता तो मैं अच्छे से मुझे जॉब और प्रमोशन मिल जाता तो मैं अच्छे से भक्ति करता, मैं अच्छे से दान देता, मैं अच्छा छुट्टी ले पाता. So this is escapism. You're not commitment. This is not commitment. This is escaping. You are finding excuses for not doing your duty, sanatan duty, that is performing bhakti. So this is what is not will not be very appreciative. Krishna will not be very appreciative of this. So while we operate with this world, we will have all kind of problems. We have bothering spouse, bothering boss, troubling children, troubling neighbors. Any kind of situations will be there. Long working hours, long time to travel to and fro from office, or whatever. Not getting prasad, could be somebody could be in army. Our Shankaranand Prabhu is in army. He's struggled to get prasad there. He can't change army rules. So there could be many reasons for which we may choose to postpone our bhakti. But Krishna wants us to start bhakti right now, right here, at wherever we are, from wherever condition, whatever condition we are. And that is appreciated. If that is chosen by us, it's make a conscious choice to choose bhakti. Krishna appreciates it, and that's how then he can start removing obstacles slowly. But he waits for us to choose him before he start choosing us or making our path easier.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. It was very elaborate reply. And by the mercy of Krishna, everything except me is good all around. Like every boss in office, whatever I get, even the Sham, the smaller kid, he starts dancing whenever any bhajan is. He hears to some bhajan, he starts dancing. And then I myself think that this what kind of foolish I am that even my small kid, he can understand. He can enjoy that spiritual bliss whenever he hears to some bhajan, and there is no bhav comes in me. So, what kind of faithless and everything, which whatever you told, the averse condition, which by mercy of Krishna, nothing is ours. Everything is favorable, but still, the time lagging, I feel sometimes that every time I'm just thinking about that. I have to think about the kids' future. I have to think about this. I have to think about that. And that time I feel like something that this is lagging actually on my part. I am not able to do what is to be done and in a very swift way. So that used to be the cause of concern most of the time. But thank you very much, Prabhuji. Your reply was so exclusive and so extensive. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Sanatra.
I just wanted one clarification. In Leap of Faith, there was one point, Mood of Vrindavan, where you said that when Krishna disappears, seeing gopis' love in their heart for him, so anarthas develop in their heart, and that is why Krishna disappears. Can you elaborate on this point? Anarthas develop in gopis' heart. So what are these anarthas all about, and when they develop, why Krishna disappears like that? Can you just highlight?
Yeah, so the pride is a anartha. The gopis didn't had pride in their heart. Gopis were pure devotees of Krishna. So Yogamaya, but they were feeling that Krishna should not treat Radharani at par with them, because they knew about Radharani's higher devotion. They knew about Radharani's superior position. They, in their heart, wanted Radharani to get some special treatment from Krishna.
Okay.
And for that, now how would that happen in the rasa dance? He was dancing with everyone. They were seeing.
Yes. Yes.
Then Yogamaya arranged for them to feel proud, little bit. When you feel proud that you are better off than others, or Krishna is giving exclusive attention to me, then that's a matter of pride. And then whenever there is anartha, Krishna decided to disappear from the scene.
Okay.
And that's how that's what the pastime, that's how the pastime goes. And then they go search for Krishna. Their search for Krishna is also very beautiful, that we can't understand Krishna by our effort, by our own endeavor. We can understand Krishna by his mercy. So we can access his mercy through prayers. So when they sing Gopi Geet prayers, they offer those prayers to Krishna. Krishna, by his own will, he reappears on the scene. And then the pastime continues.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Go to chat box and see if there are any questions. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhuji, may I speak?
Yeah, Mataji, please go ahead.
Yeah, during the session, you mentioned a book about the life of Srila Prabhupada's journey to US. What is the name of the book, please?
So that book is, it's a volume of, the few volume of books are there. It's called Prabhupada Lilamrut. And in which the entire life story of Prabhupada is documented by his disciples. So the way it happened is, Prabhupada revealed his life through various conversations that he would have with his disciples, and various pastimes. So his childhood pastimes were narrated by himself on many occasions, or narrated by his sisters and by his relatives. Then his own journey to US was documented through his diaries, and then his whatever activities happened from the time he established ISKCON, when there were devotees around, they also documented, and Prabhupada himself has revealed. So all of these are compiled into few volumes. I think there are 6 books it's collectively called Prabhupada Lilamrut. So various Prabhupada pastimes are mentioned in those books, and in the course it reveals the journey of Prabhupada, the entire life journey of Prabhupada till he leaves his this world in 1977. So it's called Prabhupada Lilamrut. So it's a very beautiful book, and all of us can have one set of books that particular volume. With us.
It's available in the gift shop.
It's available in the gift shop. Yes. In all ISKCON temples, it's available. Especially Juhu temple, it is available.
Okay, Prabhuji. So to summarize today's session, amazing session, we can say that Lord Krishna sent his best Senapati along with his best soldiers to spread consciousness of Krishna.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Yeah, so no more questions. We'll end today's sessions. Thank you everyone for joining today's session. And we'll continue with our Bhagavad Gita discussions from next Sunday onwards. And we'll hope to see you all with a lot of more enthusiasm, a lot of more commitment to hearing and chanting Yajna and on all throughout the week as well as on the next Sunday. Hare Krishna. Have a great week, everyone. Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you,
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.